Flacco remains king of the North. King of the North, old Joey Flacco. Whew. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon Perna, and yes, today on a Tuesday, the Cincinnati Bengals have acquired former Browns quarterback Joe Flacco, former Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco. He is one more Aaron Rodgers Achilles away from going to the Steelers and completing the holy grail of AFC North quarterbacking. We had here on NFL Tuesday a blockbuster trade. Well, not really a blockbuster trade, a Hollywood video trade. Not even fucking Hollywood video. It's like your local old VHS rental store trade. Flacco going from the Browns to try and save the Bengals this season. And the Bengals, I got to respect their thought process here, right? The only way to replace a Joe is by getting a new Joe. Joe Flacco for Joe Burrow. That sounds really stupid when I say it, right? That sounds like, oh, this guy's an idiot. I kind of think that's how the Bengals front office works, though. And I don't think any of you would disagree with me at this point. Let's get down to brass tacks, guys. Let's get down to brass tacks. First question. How you feeling, Bengals fans? I think Browns fans feel fine. They're like, oh, okay. We're just going to go with Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders for the rest of the season. That seems like the smarter plan. We appreciate what Joe did for us for a couple of years ago. Things weren't working out this year. We have no animosity towards Joe Flacco. We wish him the best for the rest of his career, even though he's 40 years old. It can't be that much longer. We wish him the best in Cincinnati. And I feel like Bengals fans are like, what the fuck? You're trying to fix us with Joe Flacco for a month, 2 months? Flacco? We're going from Jake Browning, who has 9 interceptions, to Joe Flacco, who has 6 interceptions, and that's supposed to right the ship until Joe Burrow comes back? Really? This is all we wanted. Jameis Winston. Where the fuck is Jameis Winston? We would have maybe taken Tommy DeVito even at this point. Something. Congrats on the Chiefs' loss. Going to watch ups and downs after this. Winners and losers, Kevin. Close. Winners and losers. Yes, I posted winners and losers from week 5 just a couple hours ago. Dear God, please let Joe Flacco beat the Packers again. Yes. There's so many interesting things here. Well, mildly interesting things here to consider with Joe Flacco. First, he gets to play the Packers again. So as a Bengals quarterback, he's going to play the Packers, assuming he's going to start this week. And the Bengals have released Brett Rippon. So it's Flacco and Browning. I think Flacco should be able to figure out, the 2 plays that he needs to run in Cincinnati. And those 2 plays, the 3. Joe Flacco needs to know 3 plays this week. Hand the ball off, throw to Jamar Chase, throw to T. Higgins. Do those 3 fucking plays, and you might beat the Packers twice. So he'll play the Packers this week, and then on Thanksgiving, I believe he plays the Ravens. So, that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. Oh, man, I had a thought before I said all that, too, about Joe Flacco. Dang it. Where did my thought go? I was thinking about winners and losers. Oh, I wanted to say thank you. We crossed 800,000 subs. We were 100 away before winners and losers. We crossed into 800,000. So thank you guys for subscribing. Next goal is we need to get 39 more signups over at Prize Picks to hit my next bonus. We're 39 away from there. Link in the description. My code is TGS. If you follow me at Prize Picks, you can see the plays that I make every week. I lost my 2 stat total guesses this last week. I just created one for the Broncos Jets London game. But use code TGS if you like playing those games. Play responsibly. Only do it if you got the means. And I just learned on Prize Picks, if you see 2 sideways arrows on your stat total projection, if you cycle through those arrows, you can select different stat total options for that play. You can make it harder to hit or easier to hit. And obviously, if it's going to be a little bit harder, I think the payout's more. I did not know that. I just was like, what do these double arrows mean? So I built myself favorable picks for the Broncos Jets. Again, you can follow That's Good Sports there. But yeah, I learned something new. Joe Flacco going to need a new medical insurance provider behind that O-line. Yeah, I think he's a statue no matter what line is in front of him. Joe Flacco's always going to take a few too many sacks, and he's going to throw the ball to the wrong team just a few too many times, right? Bro's going to get smoked by the Steelers defense. Possibly. Flacco against the Ravens on Thanksgiving. Yes, I just noted that, Sean, but that is going to be really, really funny to watch. A statue behind traffic cones. Yay. Why do you continue to disrespect the Texans? What do you mean? Actually, Toro, come back tomorrow because the Texans are going to be in power rankings. So there you go. Okay. All right. So first thing to note real quick, Flacco, he's going to Cincy with a 6th round pick. So the Browns are going to get a 5th for Flacco, basically. McNeil here, who is very funny on Twitter. Bengals offensive line, Mark Sanchez beating up an elderly man. That made me lose it. Here's some chart. I don't really know what this fucking chart means, but a lot of these things here, they don't look good for Joe Flacco. So if you have some optimism right now, Cincinnati, do not look at this chart right here. Also, do not look at this chart, Cincinnati, because as you can see, Joe Flacco's all the way down here. And even though things weren't going well with Jake Browning, he's, according to this quarterback efficiency chart, has been more efficient than Joe Flacco this season. So don't look at that. Yes, this officially means that Shedeur Sanders is no longer the 3rd quarterback, the inactive quarterback. He will be the backup quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. That's an interesting nugget in this whole, trade scenario. Yes, Flacco trying to catch his Infinity Stones in the north there. And yeah, Flacco, 1.5 picks per game. That is better than what Browning's 3 picks per game. But here's what's okay. My honest thought is, does Joe Flacco make the Bengals better? Does he make the Bengals a better offense? Does he give them a better chance to win than Jake Browning? A little bit. I think he can help the Bengals a little bit. Can he keep the Bengals alive until Joe Burrow is healthy? I don't know. I don't think so. This just seems like a mostly lateral move for the Bengals with maybe a little bit of upside. Maybe Joe comes in and he's hot for a couple games. I do like Joe throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think he will be smart enough to get them the ball. I think he's capable to get them the ball. And if you believe those 2 receivers are as good as their contracts suggest, and I do, when Joe Burrow's out there, they are some of the best fucking receivers on the planet. I think Joe will do a better job getting them the ball, getting it to him quickly. I don't know. But I think maybe your offense will look a little better with Joe Burrow. And my fear is that even if your offense looks better, Cincinnati, You're still going to be let down by your defense. I don't know if this actually translates to more wins for the Bengals. I like it because it's a fun talking point here. But based on the Bengals fans' reactions, I don't think Bengals fans are too excited for the moment. Denver could actually win the AFC. Holy fuck, that is true. Broncos beat the Jets this week. They've got favorable schedule for the next few games. Things could be going well. Guessing the Bengals front office thinks Flacco is why the Packers lost to the Browns. Also, Flacco will be playing the Ravens 2 more times this season. Yeah. Did he already play him once? Does he get to play the Ravens 3 times? Is that where he's at? I can't remember all the schedule stuff, you know? What are the chances the Bengals try to do the 2020 Steelers offense with a lot of quick passes? I mean, quick passes would help. Establishing a run game would help. Will they do it? Will they do it effectively? Nobody knows. Nobody actually knows. By the numbers, here, let me bring up this other little thing here. With Flacco, by the numbers. All right, so you got some sack numbers here. Cam Ward leading the league, 19 sacks, right? Joe Flacco, 9 sacks. Jake Browning, 9 sacks. They've both done that in 4 games. You combine those to 18. I think this is where you're getting. You're getting a guy who can finish in first place in sacks. Where's Joe Flacco with the other stuff? Not great. Joe Flacco, 815 passing yards. Jake Browning, 757. Jake Browning does have 6 touchdown passes to Joe Flacco's 2. And again, Joe Flacco, 6 interceptions. Jake Browning, they're going to say 8 interceptions there for Jake. Is that the interception? Yeah. So it does feel like... It feels like nobody else was willing to deal a backup quarterback to the Bengals, right? Jameis Winston actually made sense. And we watched Jameis in Cleveland last year. He's volatile as a passer. We all know that. But Jameis he's a gamer. And Jameis, if you give him those weapons, I think he's going to utilize them. I think he's going to utilize them much... You would utilize him better than Joe Flacco at this point in both of their careers. Now, were the Giants, were they willing to even listen to trade offers? Did the Bengals call the Giants? I don't know. But I think we all thought that made sense. Other than that, I don't know. Like, are you calling a team like the Broncos to see like if Jared Stidham's available? You're trying to find somebody that can come in and quickly be a better option for you than Jake Browning. And, I think the Browns are the only team probably willing to listen. And when a division rival is willing to trade you a quarterback, I don't think that the upside is actually that high, right? Oh, Red Bar is watching. Oh, hello, Red Bar. Hello, Red Bar. Thank God they replaced Jake Browning with the one guy who has more interceptions this season. Go Hawks. I think that's what you meant. Congrats on 800K. This may be marginal improvement for Bengals at best. Yeah, marginal, right? Marginal improvement. And the Bengals need gasoline. They need more than marginal improvement. I get the idea of trying to change it up because Jake Browning wasn't working. But when you are just changing it with Joe Flacco, you're asking, why? Why? Because you could have just stuck with Jake Browning. You could have kept that 5th round draft pick. What an uninspiring move by the Bengals. Slight upgrade and still a bad team overall. Next up, who do the Browns trade Gabriel to when they moved to Shedeur? Yeah, the Browns started with 5 quarterbacks on their roster. Obviously, I think this also means Deshaun Watson's going to be coming off of IR at some point soon, right? They've just got too many Too many guys back there. So Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel. Jesus Christ. What a quarterback room. What a quarterback room. Yeah, what other backups are out there? That's a good question. You got Andy Dalton in Carolina. I don't think they're going to move on from him. Maybe you call the Cowboys about Joe Milton. Kirk Cousins maybe would have been a better option, a better idea. Davis Mills. No, not Taysom Hill. Probably not going to call on Drew Lock. Anthony Richardson. You called the Colts about Anthony Richardson. Jacoby Brissett. There's a chance he might have to play for the Cardinals. They got Derrick Henry down here. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what better options there were outside of Jameis. But if you're calling teams at this point, if you're calling like the Browns about Joe Flacco, if you're calling about Jameis Winston, you're in a bad spot, right? It would be great. I mean, it would be a lot of fun if Joe Flacco came in there and he provided that same spark that we watched when he joined Cleveland in 2023. Bailey Zappi, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think there's a lot of options out there. Maybe Kirk Cousins is a better option. You got Tanner McKee in Philly. I think Tanner McKee could be really good. I don't know if the Eagles are willing to move on from a guy like McKee, though. Malik Willis with the Packers. I don't think the Packers are going to trade Malik Willis. I don't think the Chiefs are going to move on from Gardner Minshew because, you know, they're 2-3. The Chiefs might have to start Gardner Minshew at some point. Mark Sanchez, I think he's out. Bridgewater, yeah, he's in Tampa. I don't think he's available. Taylor Heineke, I would take a chance with Taylor Heineke. Zach Wilson down in Miami. I don't know, man. It seems like there's a lot of options out there that maybe you get a little bit of that hope in terms of that quarterback having some upside, right? This move with Flacco, it just doesn't feel good. I'm sorry to say it, Bengals fans. I'm a Bengals fan. Surely they started off asking for Jameis or Russ, and it just didn't work out. There's just no way they started out asking for Flacco. If Flacco's your first call, yeah, I actually wouldn't surprise me if Flacco was the Bengals front office's first call. As a Falcons fan, I wish they would take Kirk. Yeah, that might be a better option. This move seems lateral on paper, but Flacco knows ball better than Browning. In my opinion, a stronger arm too. I just worry since he's less mobile. That's a level-headed take. I do think Flacco has a better arm than Jake Browning. That's a good point. It's just we're watching the Colts right now, right? Fucking light it up with Daniel Jones. And the Colts, with Shane Steichen, they had Joe Flacco last year. They decided they needed to go with Daniel Jones instead of Joe Flacco. And that was the smart move. I just think I think he's done. I think he had that little tear, that run with the Browns. He's going to give you like maybe 2 good games, 2 wins, possibly Cleveland or Cincinnati. But I think that's about it. But maybe he is the only option at this point. Maybe he was the only option. I do think he's a little bit better than Jake Browning. Taylor Heineke would have been fun. Heineke's a gamer. But again, there's no good option at this point. It does mean that the Bengals are trying to figure out something because they believe Joe Burrow will be back this season. And the only way Joe Burrow does come back this season is if they have a chance to get in the playoffs, right? So he's not going to be healed until after Thanksgiving. It's going to be December-ish when he's possibly ready to go. And the only way he says yes, even if he's healthy, is if Cincinnati is still in the mix. And if the Steelers start losing games, then you got to think about the amount of games the Bengals have to win might not be that many. If the Steelers continue to win, and they can't win their own division, then they might be screwed. because if they win the division, then you're going to get a playoff spot no matter what. So really, for the Bengals, Joe Flacco needs to come in and help you win a couple games, but also the Steelers got to start losing. I don't think the Ravens are going to start winning too many games. The Browns are interesting. Dillon Gabriel didn't look terrible. In his debut against the Vikings over in London. So feasibly, they could win that division. And that's really what you're playing for. You don't even think about the record across the rest of the AFC, but even that, it's still manageable. This is optimism. This is the half glass full take here. Just win the division. Maybe Joe gives you just a little bit better chance to do that than Jake Browning. And you still got Jake Browning. You can go back and forth. You can go back to Jake Browning in a week. So that's the nice thing. I would have tried Brett Rippon out there. They cut Brett Rippon. I would have given Brett Rippon a chance. Yeah, only trust dudes whose names start with J. You got Jake, Joe, and Joe. Jake, Joe, and Joe. Flacco beat the Packers once this year, and the Bengals play the Packers next. Yeah, I started the stream talking about that. So if the Packers lose to Joe Flacco twice, that will be very funny. That will be something I would love to remind Tom Grossi about on a daily basis. I will set an alarm on my phone to remind me to text Tom Grossi that Joe Flacco beat the Packers twice. So for the Browns, they get a 5th rounder. They get to roll a few games with Dillon Gabriel, and if that doesn't work out, then maybe they test out Shedeur Sanders. And if that doesn't work out, they go back to Deshaun Watson because they got to pay him all that GD money anyway. Yes. Thank you. Thank you guys for helping me hit 800,000 subs. I really, really, really appreciate it. Still got a long way to go. 200K away from 1 million, but we'll get there. We will get there. What else? Is there anything else I'm missing from Joe Flacco? I'll go back to Twitter, see if I find anything interesting here on Flacco real quick. Joe Flacco. Oh, Adam Schefter. Bengals would like their new quarterback, Joe Flacco, to be ready to play Sunday at Green Bay. The veteran Flacco is expected to be a quick learner. So there's a good chance Flacco will be starting. Any other nuggets here on Flacco? No, not really. Not really. Like I said, this is a very Hollywood video level trade. Maserati Mitch, anybody? NFL's first ever MVP? Yeah, I'd give Mitch Trubisky a start. Is Mitch still he's still with Buffalo, right? I can't keep track of all these backup quarterbacks. That is for sure. I think what you want to find, I think the Bengals were in the wrong year, right? You need to find the younger quarterback who's been written off. You need your Bryce Young, right? Like you had your Sam Darnold. You need your Bryce Young. You need a guy who the team's given up on, but still has that potential to come in and save you. And I just think the Browns are in the wrong, or the Bengals are in the wrong window to try and find a stopgap for Joe Burrow. So is there going to be a 800,000 sub video? No. There'll be 1 million when we get to 1 million. I put up winners and losers today. That was a 36-minute episode. So that's the one. Go watch winners and losers, all 36 minutes. 39 sign-ups away on Prize Picks with my code TGS. We hit the next bonus when we get there. You can follow me. You can see my plays for this week. If the curse wheel hits the Packers again, it will be the funniest thing ever. Oh, I didn't even think of that. I got to shoot power rankings today, but we'll see. Oh, God, Bryce Young behind a worse O-line. And, hey, Bryce looked good. I'm not saying the Panthers would trade him either. I'm just saying a guy you're not so sure about. Desmond Ritter's a free agent. I don't know. Do I like Ritter more than Flacco? That's really all we're asking. Do we like this guy more than Flacco? Pick it. Can he pick it? Get the Browns or the Bengals also trade for Pickett. Man, the AFC North, just a mess. The quarterback situation is a mess. It is funny. It is. It's really funny. Where's Trey Lance? He got a few plays in this week, right? Trey Lance got a few snaps in this week. Anyway, appreciate you guys jumping in here with me. I got to go. I got to leave. I got to go pick up my daughter from school. But I appreciate it. Appreciate the 800,000 subs. Tom and I will be live for GPS tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. His internet's working again. So come hang out then. We'll talk more about the Flacco trade. Good luck, Cincinnati. I hope it helps. Good luck with Dillon Gabriel, Cleveland. Oh, who knows? Anyway, good night and God bless Bo Nix.